Number 5. I and Marco from Future Diary. Now, like the complete opposite of the last countdown from 8th and 11th, I and Marco are perfect for each other. And the anime really shows this. To start off, they are childhood friends, raised in the same orphanage, ironically, apes. They were put there together after Ai's mother abandoned her. At least according to the anime. I'm not sure if that's actually true or not. But in the anime, Marco saves Ai and almost commits suicide until Ai begs him not to leave her alone several years later. This is where it all started. Now, while I admit that scene is an extremely uncomfortable one to talk about, it is at the same time very heartwarming because it shows how much they love each other and how much one cannot live without the other. But this continues. During the series, they get married in the tower after fighting Yuki and Yuno and taking their phones, noting that they don't want to kill them just not for the sport of it. They're not really, I think, in it for the godhood. I think they just want to be together forever, which is understandable. Ultimately, during their second fight with Yuki and Yuno, they die. But that's inevitable. Really, it's one of the saddest deaths because, to be honest, you kind of started to root for them a little more than the main heroes. But what cements them on as number 5 is how they both die. Marco could have easily left and got himself medical attention. He wasn't dead yet. Instead, he gives the parachute to Yuki and Yuno and stays behind with Ai and dies alongside with her. If that's not love, I don't know what is. And also, in the third world, apparently they have children, I think. Don't quote me on it, it's been a little bit since I've seen Future Diary and I've forgotten 1 or 2 details. I'll see it again soon. Anyways, that's why they are my number 5. Number 4. Nia and Simone from Gurren Lagann. I will be very honest here, I think people are going to be freaking pissed I did not put Yoko and Kamina, but I've got some very obvious reasons why. They need to be a full-on couple. But I won't spoil why they're not. Anyways, Nia is the daughter of Lord Genome, the leader of the Beastmen, and is actually a superpowered human himself. Simone is a digger. No, seriously, his official name is Simone the Digger. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Long story. They get together when Simone discovers Nia dumped in the middle of a wasteland and accidentally unlocks her and frees her from her capsule. And she turns out to be this bright and cheerful person. She's got some depth to her, but she's very, very nice. That's why she's my favorite character in the entire show. But that's not saying much. I really love all the characters of Gurren Lagann. Hell, even the weaker ones. With Nia and Simone, though, I love the chemistry the two have. Simone is obviously attracted to her, but generally falls in love with her, and during the second half does ask her to marry him, with very comedic results. Watch the show to figure that one out. I won't spoil what happens with them, but let's just say there's still a reason I'm pissed with the ending. Anyways, that's why they're my number 4. Number 3. Airi and Kiritsugu from FateZero. Now, before I begin with the couple fun fact, numbers 4 and 3 at different time periods were both the female roles were voiced by Bridget Hoffman. Yeah, that's kind of hilarious, actually, but onto the couple itself. Airi is a homunculus, an artificial human. Kiritsugu is a mage assassin hunter person, and they initially meet when the Eisenburns want him to look after her. Initially, she starts out as an emotionless doll, but as time goes on, and as the relationship develops, so does her personality. And so does Kiritsugu continues to care for her, even falling in love with her. In short, both versions, they fall in love and eventually have Ilya. Yeah, spoiler alert for Fate's Day Night. Airi, I really like her kind personality, very similar to Nia's. And Kiritsugu, well, he's not shown many scenes with her. All the scenes are either heartwarming or heartbreaking, depending on the scene itself. And for those who've watched FateZero to the end, and watched even one episode of Fate's Day Night, you know this will not end well, and it is so tragic. I think it was better done than a few other couples I have heard about in anime. Hint, hint, one on this list. We also don't actually see their backstory and how they fell in love with each other in the actual show. We see it in the end credits, but that's all we need. And the only reason Airi is supporting Kiritsugu is not because she believes in his dream, but because she loves him and is willing to fulfill his dream, because that's her dream, to be with him and to support him whenever he needs it. That is love. And that is why they are my number 3. Number 2, Isaac and Miria from Bakano. Okay, I'm going to be very honest. Even compared to number 1, this is the most energetic couple I've ever seen in anime. These two adore each other. They're crooks, yeah, but God, do we have fun seeing them and their twisted form of good. My God, I love these two. Isaac is... they're brainless. Let's just face it. They're both very brainless and admittedly could be using more brains. But you know what? What they make up for it is heart. Their minds and intentions might not be in the right place, but I think their heart almost always is. Especially when you hear of some of their crimes that they've committed. They're not really that bad of people. They're kind of misfits. And I can get behind that and respect that. And the amount of love these two share for the other is absolutely awesome. Honestly, these two are the reason this list is even in existence. I made this list because of Isaac and Miria, and to an extension, the month of love and heartbreak was because, to an extension, of how much I love Isaac and Miria. But why are they only number 2? Because it's so obvious which one is number 1 that I probably don't even need to announce it, but it's a countdown. I've got to anyways. So let's go on. Surprise! There's another number 2. And this one is Renji and Chihiro from F: A Tale of Memories. I could not settle for these two being an honorable mention, so I just decided to hell with it. We are putting them on this list. And my God, I've not connected with a couple this good since number 1. now. I'm just recent from A Tale of Memories, and I'll admit this right now that I really enjoy this couple, and it's because of personal reasons, because I can relate to both sides. I can relate to Renji, I can relate to Chihiro, so I connect with these two, and that is why they're my number 2.2. Now, here is number 1, this time for real. And my number 1 favorite anime couple is Tomoya and Nagisa from Clannad. Now, I'm just going to let Shadow describe how obvious this choice was.
This is about as obvious as it gets. You might as well add this number 1 to the list of things you learned as a 2-year-old. The sky is blue, the mirror isn't really another person, and Tomoya and Nagisa are the best anime couple of all time.
Now that that's out of the way, why do I put these two at number 1? Besides the most obvious answers I could give. Because of how much they develop and how much they work as a couple. These two started out on very different paths. Tomoya had a rough streak, but that was more so because of a bitter home life. And he was very lonely and honestly depressed. With Nagisa, she's a very ill girl who has a great family and support for her, but she's very shy and lonely herself. Then the first episode of Clannad happens, and they meet for the very first time. And then the journey up that hill continues on each and every day, and for 44 episodes of Clannad. I will be very honest in saying this right now. These two probably would have ended up number 1 no matter what. They are personally my favorite couple in anime because of how much they work together, how much chemistry, and how much they had to work to love each other. They don't fall in love initially. There's some definitely hinted feelings here and there at the beginning, but they don't really fall in love until somewhere down the road. And you're not exactly sure when, but you know it's somewhere. And honest to God, these two need each other. For Nagisa, she needs the support emotionally, but oddly enough, so does Tomoya, but in a different way. The only one who can push Nagisa forward is Tomoya. However, Tomoya has got some emotional problems himself. He's very depressed and very pessimistic. Nagisa is very optimistic, but very shy. She does have some pessimism to her, but she's a lot more positive than Tomoya is. So she supports him rather well. That's why I love these two, because they can support each other, they love each other, and honestly, they are the best anime couple I've ever seen in anime. Anyways, that's all from me. This has been Star 6 Wars 1, and I will see you in the next part of the month of love and heartbreak for the A Tale of Memories review. See you guys then.